The city of Denver, the state of Colorado, you guys have been fucking amazing for the last 10 years.
Let me start off with a Twitch feed this morning, and I got to get the whole name right. Mile High Hockey Lab.
The city of Denver, the state of Colorado, you guys have been fucking amazing for the last 10 years.
Live from Spectrum Community Services Studios in Colorado, USA. This is the Mile High Hockey Lab.
We're off to a hard start because Ado is muted.
Well, hello and welcome to the Mile High Hockey Lab. My name is Adrian Hernandez. Evan, you got me. You got me on a Tuesday, but we are here for the 129th edition of the Mile High Hockey Lab, a special one as we begin to delve into all things Olympics in Milan, Italy, and all that sort of fun, to include MacKinnon sounding like he's not going to enjoy any of the other entertaining things, but focus on winning gold, which sounds about on par, but we'll get into that. We'll talk about maybe some of the things the Avs can think about heading into the trade deadline while they have a minute to breathe. Check in on Gabe Landeskog, who will be captaining Team Sweden. Some of the other players abound in the international tournament that will take place in the Olympics 2026. So as we did in the last episode, Ezra, I've given you a few things, and maybe you have something of your own that you want to talk about this time. I'm just going to give you the floor, and you may go first.
All right. I want to start with I watched the women's Olympic hockey game today between the U.S. and Canada, and it was a beatdown. It was a beatdown. The U.S. won 5-0. They were incredible. They were out shooting them 15-4 after the first period. Canada was without Marie-Philippe Poulin, who's very good, obviously. If you know anything about women's hockey, you know about her. But it doesn't matter. It's still incredible to see the U.S. Take out Canada like that. It was very, very fun to watch. Did anybody else get to watch it? I know it was early for.
Yeah, I watched, and I saw Layla get her first goal, which is an amazing accomplishment for her as the first African American woman on the USA women's national team. So that's really cool to see them go up 5-0. And having talked to a couple of them via the interwebs, which has been a cool, neat feature of this year's Olympics and covering it. They were all really excited for this game. I know for a fact that there are some funny dynamics in this women's team in terms of, like, some of the girls view some of the players as kind of the mom of the group. So we're seeing, like, when certain people score, there's a little bit more of a jump off the bench. And of course, when Layla scored, I think we saw that from the bench as well, which was a really cool thing to see. The women's U.S. team looks like no one's going to even come close to beating them right now, but that's just the way I see it.
Be careful of the rematch.
Yeah, I think they've scored the last 14 goals.
I was going to say, Jackie,
but
that's
they've
your
scored the last 14 goals scored against them. Like,
yeah. They've had 15 goals. Is this the stat you just said? Since their last one they gave up, which is crazy. But Jackie, you say watch out for the rematch. Is that just based on your philosophical thinking in terms of the quick rematch?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and Canada will likely get their best player back for it. So there's a good reason to be wary.
And such a decisive win like that. You know the next game's not going to go that way.
Yeah, that's a good point.
The U.S. and Canada, though, maybe I'm reading this wrong, but I don't think they would meet again until the final. Right?
Yeah,
wasn't that
correct.
our assumption?
Yeah,
and that's by
correct.
design.
Yeah,
no
doubt.
That would be fun.
It's really cool to see this women's tournament because it's kind of like, I don't know, like the same thing you're getting in the NHL, which is the women from the Professional Women's Hockey League are largely featured in this tournament for their respective countries. So there's like the same sort of sneaky dynamics between clubs and histories, like girls who played against each other in college, similar stuff that we see at the men's bracket and stuff like that. So it's really cool to see the women's game growing like that. And I think that this Olympics is going to be just another notch in that belt and a step in the right direction in terms of that. So it's been really fun to talk with. I have a question out to Hillary just to see if she had any thoughts for the younger girls in the group, seeing as she's, such a veteran, and the USA-Canada rivalry can bring with it a little bit of expectation, but obviously they took care of business today. So not whatever advice she had seemed to have worked, which is great to see. But let's talk a little bit about the men's tournament, as that will begin tomorrow with Finland and Slovakia. Brandon, what are you looking for from Finland? Who's your dark horse in this tournament? You're eating. That's okay. I'll ask Evan instead so you can finish your chewing. But Evan, Gabe Landeskog, captain of Team Sweden. I asked Brendan who his dark horse is. That's my dark horse. Not really a dark horse when you look at like how much that team is worth cap wise, but they're sneaky loaded and they're not a part of like the USA Canada beef, so they can sneak up on some people.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you're thinking of the hierarchy of international men's hockey, I mean, it would be US and Canada obviously towards the top, Finland and Sweden a little bit below that, and then would be Czechia and Slovakia, all these other teams. I'd say Finland, if we count them as an underdog. I'd say them. Of course, we all know what Mikko Rantanen can do, and like I said, I think in the last episode, I'm excited to watch Mikko Rantanen without any consequences to my hockey team. So I'm looking forward to that. And I know Jackie, I think, said this last week too, is that Czechia should be fun to watch as well. Because you have Martin H is, of course, another Avs person that's going to be in the lineup for them. I think David Pastrnak, if I'm not mistaken, on that Czechia team. So that'll be a ton of fun. I'm excited to watch them as well. I could kind of see them making a little sneaky run if they get the right opponents and they get the right swing of momentum and whatnot. A semifinal, appearance, I don't think would be too surprising from them. So, Finland, Czechia. I think those are kind of my two that I'm looking forward to watching the most. And like you said, it all starts tomorrow. I've been able to watch a ton of the Olympics. Just been running like a chicken with its head cut off for the last 2 weeks. So I hope that I get to sit down and enjoy some Olympic ice hockey with NHL players for the first time in over a decade.
Yeah, 12 years it's been since the NHL players have played in the Olympics. Jackie, Evan talks a lot about Finland. I know for a fact every time there's pretty much an international contest, Finland is on your watch list, often a team that you root for. That's the question I definitely want to ask Rantanen and Lecky, is what it's like to be reunited. Are they teasing each other a little bit here and there about the happenings in the NHL, or is it all strictly international business? But what are you looking for from Team Finland, and maybe you can comment on another group that you're excited about?
I'm kind of with Evan. I'm looking at Finland and Czechia. I believe Czechia won the World Championship. I think it was last year.
Yep, they did.
So I think maybe they're being undersold a little bit. And you never know. Like, there's always going to be a sort of surprise dark horse team, not of the big five, I guess you could call them. I don't know. Sweden never does it for me. They play just such a boring style. And I think their inability to score up and down, all the way to their youth teams, men's teams, can be sort of their undoing. So I'm not necessarily on the Team Sweden bandwagon. I mean, I obviously hope Landeskog and all the Avs do well. But I guess we'll see. We'll see just what games I'm able to catch and what team can gather some momentum. I was going to ask, how exactly is the quarterfinals determined? With the three groups, I don't know inherently how that works. So if anybody knows and can explain it to me, that would be helpful.
I believe it's based off of I think points percentage is what it is. I know you get certain points if you win in regulation or win in overtime or win in a shootout. or lose in regulation. Overtime.
It's the 3-point system, I believe, and then it defaults to like if there's a tie, it defaults to I think winning percentage, and then if there's a tie on that, it goes to goals scored, which is all the more reason for anyone to run that goal score that score.
Yeah,
up.
That's the tiebreaker for sure. The way it'll work is similar to kind of like how you think of playoffs with matchups. They'll just do the groups, the rankings, and the different groups will face each other throughout the qualifications and stuff in each group. But yeah, to determine who the quarterfinal is, it'll come down to tiebreakers. And I believe like each group will have a representative in that. So that's kind of how it, like America's group is pretty laissez-faire in terms of what it could be. Like Sweden has a pretty tough group. That's kind of going to be where this tournament starts to take shape, is how these teams survive the group phase, both in terms of like injuries and those goals for and goals against that Brandon seems to mention, because it will come down to that. Brandon, you chuckled, sounded personally offended when Jackie said that she doesn't like Sweden's game. I want you to respond as to why, and then also touch on the fact that for the Swiss team, we have a friendly face in Sven Andrighetto playing.
Two friendly faces.
Yeah.
The Ghetto and Barra.
Yeah.
And Malgin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3.
Oh my god!
As far as I know, I think Retro Barra is still their goalie, but it's hard not to like Sweden's game to me, because it's like a heck of a lot of my favorite players. That, and how can you not like their flow?
Doesn't do it for me. Sorry.
Every single one of them has a good head of hair, but it makes me extremely jealous. But I am very hopeful for the fact that Gabriel Landeskog, this is the first time he's been able to lead Sweden as a captain, not as an alternate captain. And I want to see what he can do with it, first off. And then second, because we know what he can do with the Avalanche. And then I want to see him show the world that, hey, I can still play, because I think there's still those doubters.
Sure.
Out there.
But don't they have him projected on the fourth line, which of course we can't take it as gospel, but he's on the fourth line.
That's like saying Sidney Crosby's on the third line for Canada.
Okay, Sweden's not quite like Canada.
But you get my point. These teams are so deep that, you've got like top line players playing like, third line minutes.
Well, my question about Sweden and Landeskog, and maybe Ado, you might know this better because you're kind of more in the swing of things. Is he fully healthy? Is he ready to go? Because I know that was obviously a question mark for the Avalanche, with his injury back in January and the concern of, he might, miss the Olympics altogether. He obviously hasn't played for the Avs since then. I think every team practiced, but by the time they've gotten there now, I imagine, and I don't know if
they have
participated.
He has, he's practiced.
Okay.
He's practiced.
They've posted pictures about it too.
Yeah, he's practiced, and the coach, I'm going to pull up the quote for you right now just so that I don't screw it up. But basically, like, it feels like it's all go for Landeskog. The sense I get, this is all speculation, but the sense I get from the situation is like his time towards the end with this regular season stuff for the Avalanche, that he didn't play, was really kind of a formality in terms of making sure he was good to go for this. And I think that, in fact, they have cleared that space and time. He says he's really excited. Sam Hallam, the head coach, he was asked on thinking the Sweden's roster might be weakened by injuries. He said it was a tough December with Victor Hedman, of course, going down. Gabe was also down. Big leaders in the back and in the front. But he said, quote, "It looks like they're both healthy. Everybody is ready to go." So that is good news for Avalanche fans, too. Obviously, in this situation, though, like knowing Landeskog, even if he's 85%, he's probably going to go if he can skate. That's just kind of the personality that we're dealing with. So that's exciting stuff. I do want to clarify just real quick on the quarterfinal stuff, Jackie. So the 12 teams are split into the 3 groups, And then the automatic qualifiers are the top seeds in each of those 3 groups. And then 5 versus 12, 6 versus 11, etc., to determine who plays those 3 in the quarterfinals. So
those
that'll be how it works.
And the top ranked second place team.
Correct.
Yeah. So there's four buys.
Yeah. Top ranked second, which is why the groups part is going to be really interesting. And let's talk about who's in what group real quick too, so I can pull that up. But
I was going to say, which group? Who's in which group?
Well, I know that Canada and Czech have their first game against each other. That's a big one.
So their group, yeah.
And then Sweden and Finland will have a game against each other. I know both Sweden and Finland start tomorrow, so I think their game against each other is on Friday, I believe. So those will be the big group games. USA, I guess, has the quote-unquote easier group.
Yeah, they do. It's France, Switzerland, Czechia, and Canada in Group A. So that's a decent group. Obviously, you'd assume Canada takes 1 and Czechia 2, but it's possible that flips, and then things get really interesting if Canada is not
and the Swiss
highest
players.
Yes, they do. They do.
I think France, if I'm not mistaken, has another old Avs friend, Pierre-Edouard Bellemare, right?
Yep, they do. Mm-hmm. I think he's captain.
That's not a surprise at all.
And then Group V is Finland, Sweden. Yeah, he's 40. There's a 44-year-old snowboard cross snowboarder that I had a couple questions with this morning, and I was just like, "Are you like all the other, pardon my question, older people like Sidney Crosby who just focused on fitness and stuff?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's the only way to do it." So. But Group B is Finland, Sweden, Slovakia, and Italy. And then Group C is United States, Germany, Latvia, and Denmark. Germany obviously has Leon Draisaitl, but other than that, not much. Latvia, same sort of thing. Denmark, same sort of thing. Yeah, yeah, that's true. Moritz Seider. The thing that kind of can
Seider's
be
good. Seider's good.
He's very good. He's probably might be
highly
the best,
underrated by
all-around
the rest of the
defender in the league right
NHL,
now.
in my opinion.
I mean, I would say he's one of the best, if not the best, like all-around defenders in the league right now. But that's just my humble opinion. Right now, don't freak out on me, Kel McCarr fans. But
you apparently did not read my article.
That's a lot of Detroit hype.
Last week.
I don't quite believe it, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Evan.
I just wanted to say this is the soccer guy in me, because I love my soccer. Because every World Cup, every 4 years, we always say there's a group of death, right? Out of those 3 groups, I guess it would be Group B, because you have Sweden and Finland, obviously. I don't remember who the other 2 are already.
Slovakia and Italy.
Slovakia.
I would go A.
Italy.
I would
Italy.
too.
Granted, I don't think they took any NHL players, if there even are any Italian NHL players. But
there are.
They don't have any.
They just chose not to do them.
That's right. They chose not to do them.
Well, they chose
never know.
No heritage players. So you have to be an Italian citizen.
Gotcha. I mean,
not of Italian descent. Yeah.
Listen, they're the host country. You never know what can happen with Italy. I think it's not as likely, but national pride and passion playing in front of your home country that's hosting the Olympics. You never know. So that might be my group of death.
You have to be careful with the less skilled teams because they're going to play extremely physical
and rigid schematically.
Like, if I was going to look for any like underdog, I don't know if I'd quite go to Italy. I think maybe like Latvia or Slovakia would probably be my.
Yeah.
I don't know, a little bit more capable underdogs.
Latvia's pulled some upsets in the past, right? They beat Canada a couple last Olympics, I think. Just in the round robin, but yeah.
A lot of Canadian pundits who are letting their colors fly a little too obviously, in my humble opinion, have brazenly predicted that Latvia is going to upset the U.S. Right off the rip. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, I would have to say Group A for me is the group of death, Evan, just because like the Swiss team isn't anything to scoff at, and we've talked already about Czechia being a great team, and of course Canada, who from my perspective is easily the like loosest club at the Olympics. Like in terms of they are traveling together, they're being jovial. They might not be staying in the village the whole time, but they started there. Most of the teams are, in fact, doing the whole Olympic Village thing and having roommates, which is hilarious. Like the Kachuk brothers are roommates. I imagine they're doing like stepbrothers-esque things and putting the beds on top of each other and making room for activities. But it's just been a fun time over there, and it does seem like Canada has a bravado about them right now. I don't know how long that'll last. I don't know if it's kind of like lingering from the Four Nations victory, but they seem very confident. So it'll be interesting to see how that Group A sorts out. I have a couple questions into MacKinnon tomorrow about kind of because he's a nut about the physicality side of sports and hockey. So I'm curious how he's prepared with like the time change and things like that, and how he feels playing at altitude in Colorado has helped him. So we'll get answers back on that.
Well, you should
tomorrow.
also ask him what it's like to play with Brad Marchand.
I just knew it. I knew as soon as you opened your mouth, Brennan, that something was going to come out.
There's a
Marchand. I just knew it.
There's a question that I have around that because it's a topic of conversation heading in, which is where does Brad Marchand? Line. Well, that's my question: is where is he really going to play? Because I have a hard time believing that 37-year-old Brad Marchand is going to skate first line minutes in the Olympics.
Yeah, he'll get clocked by someone like PK Subban or something like that as he flies through the neutral zone.
Yeah, well, that's a bringing up a little bit of lore right there. Mm-hmm. But I'm curious, like, are we going to learn anything as Avalanche fans from this with these combinations? We're going to see these guys, MacKinnon and Makar, on a power play with some different approach and different talent and capabilities. If this,
I think they should be split up.
Let's talk about that. Like, what is the approach for Canada, knowing that they have, those two players on probably power play one, but the power play they're a part of is the worst in the league. Do you think about splitting them up? Who do you put on power play two between Makar and MacKinnon? That is, I don't know. That's good luck.
If you're John Cooper, you immediately split them up.
No,
you do it just based on the fact that exactly what Makar and MacKinnon have been doing with the Avalanche.
See,
and the fact that they're not able to score for some darn reason, and that they need to be split up, and you want to be able to see what they can do. That's my theory, but that's just me.
I also don't think it's gonna be like power play 1 and 2. Like in international competition, they're usually pretty evenly balanced. Sometimes you're going to start with 2. It's not like the first unit and the second unit. You're telling someone go be on the second unit. I mean, and the other thing is like there is no second unit just based on personnel, but they're going to split it much more.
They're both power play one.
Yeah, they're going to split it much more evenly. They might even start power plays with number 2 based on who's on the ice or other reasons. So I wouldn't take it as a slight. I just think, maybe they need to experience some a little bit of power play time away from each other.
Yeah.
If it's me, I don't need to split them up. I just need to tell them to do anything other than what they've been doing. I think it's like as simple as just the power play doesn't run through MacKinnon. It runs through McDavid. It's going to be better. McKinnon's a great player. He might be better than McDavid right now, but McDavid as the down low quarterback and Makar as the up high quarterback, setting up MacKinnon and whoever else ends up on the ice with the three of them. That's deadly. And I don't know why you would want anything else.
I'll definitely be watching. On the power play, I'm going to be watching Makar more than MacKinnon because I want to see if he defaults back to hugging that blue line or if he's told, to do something different and actually does it, because there seems to be a debate about why is Makar so ineffective? And there seems to be a split between it's the system and the coach and he's told to do this. And then the other part is he knows he needs to get closer and he refuses to do it. It's on him. He needs to figure it out. He needs to realize that that is not the best spot for him. So I'm curious to see how he kind of navigates this Olympic. Is it going to be a better system for him? Is he going to do more what he usually does? Then we'll see.
Yeah,
Jackie,
yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I just think as I've said about the power play for a while, like if they run it from down low instead of from up high, it will be more effective than the Avs.
Yeah. And if we start seeing that from Team Canada, we can be like that Leonardo DiCaprio meme when he's got the cigar in his mouth. And there it is. That's what we want.
Yeah,
that's
exactly. And you hope McKinnon comes back from the Olympics being like, hey, that actually did work. I guess everyone telling you to do that was right.
Yeah. Oh, what do you know?
Well, I guess here's my only concern. Sorry, Ado, I just wanted to chime in on
totally
this.
Fine. No, you're good.
Because I've just kind of been listening, and I'd have to look back at what the power play setup was like for Four Nations, because it's engraved in my brain that first power play that they had in the Four Nations where they just absolutely dismantled Sweden in like the first 5 seconds, and McKinnon scored. Like, that was unbelievable. And I don't know how that kind of fluctuated throughout the tournament back then a year ago, but I'd imagine that Canada, they feel as rigid, maybe even more rigid than the Avs would be on the power play.
What is going on back there?
I'm in a public area. That's what's going
Yeah.
on.
Okay.
And it's an interesting situation of like, they could just run what they have because they're Canada and they have all the best players in the world and they believe that, right? And they could just keep doing whatever they're doing.
Kind of do. But
so
for Four Nations, it was McKinnon, McDavid, Crosby, Reinert, and Makar. So,
and I could have sworn that Jarvis was on one of them,
which is the same.
Yeah. Well, and the thing about that, the player you're talking about, Evan, is they set that thing up, ran it in practice. Somebody filmed them running it in practice, and still somehow they pulled it off to absolute perfection in like the first 10 seconds of a power play. So it's like everyone in the world who had a vested interest in trying to figure out what they were about to do probably didn't have to work that hard, and they still couldn't stop it. So that's scary stuff.
Scary. I know. And it's like I said, it'll be interesting to kind of see how they go about that. And I think maybe Avs fans need to hear this. This is not a Colorado Avalanche power play. All right. Like McKinnon and Makar, I imagine, are going to be doing different things.
I sure as heck hope so.
I hope so. Yeah, I think that's maybe the right word to say. Is I hope so. I hope that they will be doing something different. And I mean, John Cooper is going to be leading that, and I don't know who the assistants are that they brought, but I mean, it's going to be different than Dave Haxtell, and I think we've kind of known at this point that Haxtell isn't necessarily the problem because it's kind of been like that for the Avs for the last few years now. So I don't know, they'll spice up something, they'll do something different, but Canada, I mean, also just has different personnel from the Avalanche. Granted, they're all high quality, really good players, both for Canada and for the Avalanche. So. We'll see.
Ado, here's a question you need to ask Coop. How many pieces of gum does he go through in a game?
Do you have multiple packs with you?
Yes.
Or is it just one clean
That guy
pack?
is chomping hard on that gum during games.
He's the Pete Carroll of hockey.
Yeah,
you're totally
my
right.
gosh. Makes my jaw hurt just watching.
That's funny. Well, Jackie, one of the other things that I've been keying on in my preparation for this is kind of in a year where the NHL players come back, you don't typically see a lot of young guys make teams, but that's kind of not the case here in Milan. There's Albert Smits in Latvia, who's 18 years old. He's a 2026 draft eligible player, so he'll be fun to watch playing that young in an international tournament like this. I mean, you have a good couple of games, you improve your draft stock considerably in this sort of setting. Obviously, Macklin Celebrini, who's 19, the youngest Canada player to ever be on Team Canada when NHL players are involved. Cooper had some interesting thoughts on where to slot him, including him playing with McKinnon. Would you be excited to see that combination?
Sure, why not? Definitely. I think Celebrini's proved himself that there shouldn't be any limitations on him. So just whatever they draw up. I hope it doesn't get into like default where they marginalize the young guys, but I think they know better. I think they know it's his second year in the league and what impact he can make. So I think they'll use him just like how they use everyone else. It would be disappointing to see him kind of given like the Makar at the World Juniors treatment, where it's like you're only allowed to be on the power play for a minute and that's it. I just think that teams know that they need. I mean, as far as the other nations, I mean, if you have talent, you have to use it. Like, didn't we see Slepkovsky win MVP last Olympics? Now, obviously, the NHL players were there, but still, it was a 17-year-old that won MVP. Yep. So I think you just have to embrace and accept what talent you have, because it's going to be talent what helps you win. So, that's always fun. It's fun to see if on these other nations, if somebody can make a name for themselves like that.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. It's like let the young guys spin if they're in, and if they have a good showing, like super cool. Leo Carlson also for Team Sweden. He's not super young. I mean, 21-year-old.
He's out.
It's pretty young.
Yeah.
Is he hurt?
Yeah.
That's right. He got hurt. Okay.
And
then
Sweden
also
has a lot of injury. I think that's also one reason. Like, is Nylander healthy?
No Nylander.
Like
Correct.
Hedman has also been a bit iffy. Like, Sweden, Nylander, I think, has lost.
Nylander was coming into the games hurt. But
it sounds like Nylander won't play the first and maybe not even the second. Is the reports correct? Yeah.
He'll be too busy giving the bird from the press box.
Yeah, and getting somehow fined by player safety for flipping off a camera. But
that's really funny that because I was obviously at that Toronto game where that happened. I didn't even realize that he wasn't playing. Like all of Toronto was just missing in that game. But anyway, I just wanted to touch on Macklin Celebrini, because the Sharks have been a lot of fun to watch this year, and the Avs. I mean, we literally just saw San Jose right before they went to the Olympics, right? And I guess we haven't really talked about that game because that was between our last show and now. But I mean, San Jose made it close, and Macklin Celebrini was a part of that. So, like, he's going to be fun to watch. I don't know how much of a big role he'll have, within all of the the star-studded talent that Canada has, but. I mean, we saw obviously last Wednesday, and the league has seen it, all year. So you never know. I'm excited to watch Celebrini though, and I do hope that the Sharks, make a good push for the playoffs later on, and it'll be a first round matchup, if that happens between Sharks and the Avs.
Well, as far as I know, Celebrini's playing first line.
Wow, really?
That's what Puckpedia has him on. They have him on his left wing.
There's been little bit of hoopla made of this whole. First of all, they've closed some practices, which is not typical in Olympic hockey. I think Team Czechia has actually been the one that has had the most closed practices, but among them was Canada, who did it first, and I just don't buy the lines that they're putting out. And I don't know why, like if you're Team Canada, like you're so good, like just put it on paper, show the whole world. Who cares? Like, I don't think you're getting much of an advantage. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is exactly who they're going to go with, but I don't think you're getting much of an advantage by like trying to mislead.
Well, yeah, and like they have Marner on the third line and Tom Wilson on the first, and it's like, I kind of think those guys are flipped.
This is how Jared Bednar.
It's just a matter of how long it lasts.
Yeah. This is how Jared Bednar made it to Team Canada. He's in spirit there, hiding lines. And
the Bednar blender.
Exactly. Yeah. This is how Jared Bednar made the Olympics.
It's like I can see Stone on the third line. I can see Hagel on the fourth. Horvat, I mean, with as deep as this team, I can see on the fourth. Same with Reinhart. But Tom Wilson on the first line on the right side of McDavid, no.
That's how I look at Marchand too. Like I think situationally, you can maybe bump Marchand if he's having a Marchand game. And you just can't stop him, then of course go throw him up there. But like from puck drop, I think that's pretty crazy.
Unless they're hoping for a Pat Maroon type thing with McDavid, where he's going to get like 20 points. throughout the season because that was insane when Pat Maroon was playing on the wing for McDavid and he ended up becoming one of the best players in the league. And it's like, wait, where did Pat Maroon come from? Oh, he was playing next to McDavid.
Yeah. Well, I have a question that I think we can all get into about that's like really Avs related. And I think it's a good question, something I want to do an article around, which is whose great performance or good performance is most important as it pertains to the Avalanche players that are in the Olympics. Who are you hoping has a great tournament in the sense of so that it positively affects the rest of the season for the Colorado Avalanche? Anyone can go. Oh, well, Brennan's already holding up his Landeskog Eagles jersey, so there's one answer. Who else?
Oh, I think I know what Ezra's going to do.
Ezra is now holding his Gabe Landeskog alternate jersey.
Okay, I have a different answer. I mean, I see the Landeskog angle about the whole like proving it and everything, but honestly, what's going to make a difference for the Avs winning the cup is Makar. He needs to get his mojo back. He needs to figure out the power play. He needs to get his swagger back. I think, and we know he's a superstar. So in a way, it's saying like the superstar is going to be a superstar. Would that be that special? But I just think he needs kind of like a mental reset. And I think him having a great Olympics would help him have that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was going to go down the route of the car. I was going to go down that route, especially in like the power play, kind of like we've already touched on. But I don't know. That's a good question. That is a really good question, Ado.
I mean, also Natchez.
I was going to say maybe Marty.
My answer is Devon Toews.
That's a good answer too.
Because I think Makar can kind of go where he goes too. Like if Toews finds his game in the Olympics, it'll be right next to Makar. So you'd hope that Makar also has a good performance alongside that, just by proxy of being Kale and being around somebody else who's scoring. You would assume he's involved in those points as well, and then that can carry over because I do think the top end scoring side of the Avs defensive group has faltered. And that the competitive advantage that once went away in terms of depth, and now they're kind of losing that scoring touch advantage as well. So that competitive advantage to me is shrinking a little bit. I'd like to see Taser really have a good tournament and come back to the States and be ready to rip it for the Avalanche.
Yeah, that's a good answer. And did you guys see the player profile too that like Canada put out about Taves? And it was like, what 3 words would describe your game? And he said, pass to Kale. So that was,
and my answer for that
I enjoyed that a lot.
That's why you only have 13 points.
Yeah, good point.
That's not 3 words though, Jackie. That's not I'm just kidding.
Only 3 points. How about that?
No,
in other words, Taves knows his
only have
place.
13 points.
Well, in other words, that's why Taves knows his place. He knows his job. He knows defensively he's got to get the puck away from whoever has it, and then okay, there goes MacKinnon, there goes Taves, or there goes Kale.
But what does even a great Olympics for Taves look like? I mean, aside from he's the MVP, like some amazing miracle happens and he's the MVP somehow, but. Like I get it. Like we want him to score a few goals, feel that mojo going. But is that it, or is there anything else to it?
I'd say 5 goals, 10 assists, and plus 10.
No, how
many games
are
they
a lot? Yeah.
No, but you got to understand that.
I mean, they could be
plus
10 against Italy or whoever they're playing.
You have to.
I guess that's true.
I fall back to Ezra's thinking with Brock Nelson. I know, Ezra, you mentioned like as long as he wins his matchups, you don't care. I think that applies here in this high stakes environment for Taves. But I also hope he is a scoring factor, not just generally, but in like big goals, important goals, like momentum swinging goals that when he goes back to the hotel in Italy, he goes, hell yeah, I helped my team win tonight. Because those are the kind of goals that spur on a shift in mentality and confidence. And that's really what we're looking for, I think, from Kale and Taves. Even though, yes, Kale is great, putting up great numbers. We've watched him before. We know there's levels, and we're missing a couple right now.
I'll throw out another two players out there. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Ezra.
No, please.
I'd say I'll throw out another two players that we haven't talked about. One kind of funny one and one serious one. If Yoel Kiviranta pops off, that would be a lot of fun. That'd be a lot of fun, considering he hasn't really done much for the Avalanche.
He'll be buried on the fourth line or hardly get minutes.
I think you want to save those goals.
Yeah.
You want to save his BS goals.
He's only got so much magic in that stick.
I know, but it would be kind of.
It always happens at the most ridiculous times, though.
You're not wrong, though, Ado. You're not wrong. Yeah. Like that's a good point. If he pops off, that'd be kind of fun, and he brings it back to Colorado because I know there's been questions about him versus Brindley versus Logan O'Connor if he ever comes back, all those sorts of things. But the other, I'll also talk about Lehkonen, because I know that there was kind of a situation of like, where does he fit in the lineup? Because he kind of penciled in the top line for the Avs to start the year, and then has kind of fluctuated up and down. I know Jackie has brought up several times that if the Avs, make a move and are super competitive, is that they have Lehkonen somewhere in a middle six role, right? And granted, he's had a good year for the Avs, right? I think we can all kind of say that, but if he's able to just grow his game a little bit more, maybe find his synergy, kind of get back to that Mikko Rantanen, chemistry that he had with them, obviously without Rantanen on the Avs now, but if he brings some of that back, to Denver after the Olympics, that would be kind of fun too. So I don't know, one of those two I think would be neat at the very least.
They've got him penciled in on the second line left wing.
And that's a good role for him, I think. I think that's a really good role when, what is a pretty talented Finnish roster still. It's a good opportunity.
Lehkonen's game is going to work in the Olympics for the same reasons it works in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Because as Victor Hedman said, he goes to the places that nobody wants to go. And so he lives in those places. So it's like... Well, that's why you got respect for Lecky, and so we'll see. I want to see like my heart wants to see Gabe Landeskog lead Sweden to a gold medal, because that's an incredible story. Obviously, we didn't get that carrot last year, which it felt like it was right there, and so to see him kind of achieve in that regard would be incredible. I still think, though, medaling in general. And captaining his country and kind of getting through the tournament itself will be quite an achievement. So that's where my heart is, but my head says that Team Canada is going to find a way, even though I don't know who they're going to put between the pipes. Period. Yeah, that's it.
It's going to be Bennington. They're going to live and die with him.
Yeah,
so the thing with the ice,
Bennington's going to show up.
So the early reports from the women goalies on the ice is that angles are considerably different with the missing length in the ice. So what a lot of the analysts who are a lot smarter than me and have played goalie before are saying is that in this environment, a very reflexive goalie is likely the better get than somebody who can go left to right. So to me, like when I look at the teams and their goalies, I feel like Czechia's got a good goalie group to go with, and I think Sweden does too. Like Gustafsson feels like he's going to get to go, but they might go with the kid from Minnesota too, who might very well be better right now, which is crazy.
Yeah,
and knows how to run his mouth too.
Well, he knows how to celebrate.
Yeah, Czechia's interesting with Dostal. I mean, we've seen the highs and lows of Dostal this season in Anaheim. So if he is able to be the best version of himself, that's really good. But obviously, like what's been happening with Anaheim lately is they don't defend well, and then he isn't able to pull magic out of his hat like he could early on in the year. So we'll see what happens there. To me, though, the goaltending question for Canada, like the way you just phrased it, if they're looking for a goalie who moves better and is more reflexive, then that's just Logan Thompson's music, isn't it? Like he's obviously the choice, but he's coming off injury, so I don't know. We'll see what happens there.
Yeah, and when it comes to Czechias, it's like honestly, I think Dostal, it would be so much better if he had a better D core in front of him, Anaheim's third, what always kills those Dallas numbers. And then they've got Vejmelka backing them up. I mean, come on, that's a pretty darn good tandem. And we've seen the best of Vejmelka in Colorado when he's on a tear against the Avs. So
yeah, but you just talked about he needs a good decor in front of him, and they have Philip Roenick, who's good.
Gudas,
and that's it. No, I mean, come on. Gudas is an NHLer, but Gudas is part of the problem in Anaheim. Then on the left, they've got Radim Simek, who had an NHL future, but it didn't pan out. Michael Kempny, who was good for a while, but is now no longer in the NHL. Jan Ruda, who's an old man, and David Spacek, who flamed out. So it's tough to see Chechia and think, oh, that's a better decor for
Ruda is 35. You watch your mouth.
Hey, so am I.
You look at Gudas. I
was waiting for him to list out more.
Looks up at Gudas and goes, "Damn it!"
But Jan Ruda's got a lot of playoff experience.
No, that's true. He was a very, very high quality bottom pair defender, and that's what he's being asked to do. So there's a chance he'll be good again. But
you just look at that. He was with Tampa during those 2 runs.
So, right. Yeah. Yes. I like Jan Ruda. He was always a go-to trade for in my NHL video game days, but I just don't think he has it anymore.
That's why he's playing overseas.
Exactly.
We're all American here, I believe. I don't think I'm speaking out of turn when I say that. What do we think of the Team USA's chances?
I don't like their choice at captain.
They went with Matthews. Who did you want? Eichel?
Yeah.
I think
Eichel's
not Eichel. Not Eichel.
No.
Vegas fans are losing their mind that Eichel wasn't.
We've seen how Eichel's led a team in Buffalo, but that's Buffalo.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
But that was also I think a big reason why he's been successful in Vegas is that the spotlight is off of him. So I would not have chosen him either. I guess if you were gonna say should have been someone else, maybe one of the Kachucks. I mean,
McAvoy.
I don't. Maybe
Quinn.
I don't know.
Slavin,
I love. There's only a few players on the U.S. roster that I'm like, I really like that guy. So it's an interesting group. But I see
I'm more for quiet leaders myself, but I think Nelson would have done a great job as a captain, but that's just me. Dylan Larkin maybe as a captain. He's got the captain experience as with the
Did you all
Red
see
Wings.
Dylan Larkin's interview during the women's game today?
I have not watched any Olympics at all. I am literally taking a break from sports.
It was truly the most this is a hockey player who can't talk to the media interview. They were like, how are you liking being here at the arena watching the women play? The hockey's pretty good.
Is he sober?
Who is this guy? This guy has no personality. You can't put a C on him.
Was he sober?
He seemed sober, yeah.
Brock was the captain in on the island, wasn't he?
He was
I think
he was an alternate.
Honestly was the captain.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah. Wait, who? Because Brendan,
Anders Lee was the captain while he was in New York.
Brandon, you said you didn't like the U.S. captain, but then you made it sound like it wasn't one of the Kachuk brothers. I thought it was.
It's Austin.
No, it's Austin Matthews.
Oh, it's Austin Matthews. Oh,
yeah.
Matt is an assistant captain. Kachuk though.
I definitely thought it would have been one of the Kachuk brothers. I mean, they've kind of been hoorah, about U.S. hockey for the last few years.
If you
now.
made one of the Kachuk brothers a captain, they would have brought that fierce grit to the team, kind of like what Landy does for Sweden. Where they know how to lead the team, but they also know when to drop the gloves and things like that. I feel like Austin Matthews doesn't know when to do that, and that porn stash of his maybe getting into the way.
Well, if you fight in this tournament, you're going to get kicked out of the game and probably.
Well, yeah, but you get my point. When you have to know when to throw the grit into the game, and I feel like Austin Matthews just doesn't know when to pump up a team because we've seen him not do it in Toronto.
I think that you're buying into what Toronto convinces themselves of their favorite players so that they'll leave eventually. Because
we don't really know anyway. It's hard to say who is the natural leader among a group of stars. So I mean, whatever. Like they're not going to win or lose based on who they choose as captain. The reason why I would say either the Kachuk brothers is just they've made the focus of this era's USA hockey team about them. So they might as well be the entire face of it. But as far as me, I don't care what a group of men decide who's the best. You know what? That's just a lot of like on the sidelines kind of commentary. So I don't care that much.
Yeah.
But
the actual hockey, I mean, you look at that top six with Eichel and the Kachucks as the second line, and then Matthews, Gensel, and Boldy. There's some exciting hockey to be played in two very different styles between those two lines. Then as you go down the lineup, you get like Kyle Connors playing on a third line. I don't know how defensively responsible he can be, but with Dylan Larkin and Tage Thompson next to him, maybe that'll work. And then the fourth line, I mean, we all love Brock, obviously. Jack Hughes is playing with him, and then JT Miller, which seems like a collection of misfit toys.
Sounds like an insane line.
Yeah, that feels like that's not how they'll actually be used in game action. We'll see, but it doesn't seem like it would be. I mean, that's kind of Brock Nelson and Jack Hughes trying to score while JT Miller's trying to, I don't know, eat somebody. I don't like him. Mm-hmm. But then the real strength of the U.S. team is defense, obviously, and that's where if I'm making captain choices, I'm putting all the letters on defensemen because this team is stacked on the back end with Quinn Hughes, Charlie McAvoy, Jacob Slavin, Brock Faber, Noah Hannafin, Zach Werenski, and then Jake Sanderson scratched. I mean, man, that is the strength of this team.
That's really good.
Well, I brought up this X post because if Team USA needs any poster board material, Sid here took care of that for them. Listen to this.
I'm sorry. Everyone's being very polite to the States. We're going to kick their ass. We are.
Love it.
Power play, shorthanded, 5-on-5. Our leadership's better. It's not even close. Canada's Canada, not because of hype, because of results. Because McDavid's got 5 scoring titles and 3 Hart trophies, and he wakes up and he oozes success. Never mind Crosby or McKinnon or everyone else. No, the Kachucks fought once. Really? Are we scared of the Kachucks? They got a podcast. They got a podcast. Oh, look, JT Miller's here. Really? Really? We're going to be scared of the United States? I'm not saying they are, but we live next to NBC who have anointed them champions already, and it's so annoying. And God bless that commercial I keep seeing of America's players crying the tears of sadness under The Weekend.
So good.
We also had a great halftime show once upon a time. Shout out The Weekend. Save your tears for another day, States. I'm not being polite about this. This is stupid.
So that
wasn't a poke at the Super Bowl, really.
Yes, it was.
Shout out The Weekend. Me too.
Yeah, you too. That's Sid Zero, the Sid Zero show. That's a great show. Some strong words, as I put in the tweet, but like that to me, that attitude that he has is the way they should be showing who they're playing. Like, we're gonna beat you. We're better. They should be better, in my humble opinion. And so let's keep it a buck and just roll out there if you're Team Canada. I think the shots at the Kachucks for having a podcast is hilarious. He said, "Oh, podcast. Oh."
All I'm saying is who's won a Stanley Cup 2 years in a row? Matthew Tkachuk.
Yeah. Interesting that he.
Yeah. Anyway, I mean,
interesting he couldn't add that to when he was talking about McDavid, right?
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up next. Was that about McDavid? Yeah. Anyway, I mean,
let's go.
It's going to be close. It's going to be close.
I just don't care about either team, really. I mean, that's why I'm not rooting for them.
Yeah. Well, I think I might have got Brendan to actually watch hockey for that game, at least, just based on pissing him off a little bit there.
Yeah.
USA hasn't taken gold since the Miracle on Ice, so I mean, it would be pretty nice to see it happen this time around. Yeah,
I thought it would have been sooner than that. I don't know. Anyway, that's interesting.
Nope.
They've been taking gold in juniors and worlds and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, let's get into last week's bold predictions, and we can give some Olympic style ones this week. And I will start with Evan. Evan, you said that the Avs would beat the Sharks by more than 3 goals. You looked like you might be correct. but unfortunately the final ended up at 4-2. So you get a buzzer there. You said you think that both Super Bowl teams will lose. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. I guess I could have given you a buzzer last week for that one. I don't even know what you were hoping
it depends
for
on
there.
which way you look at it from, a certain perspective.
Sure. Jackie, you said the Avs were going to score 2 or more power play goals in their final game. That didn't happen. And you said that there would be a safety in the Super Bowl. You were kind of close early, but it didn't happen. So that's a no-go. We are on a heater. Brandon, you said that Kiefer Sherwood would have a hat trick as per tradition. Unfortunately, that did not happen.
Unfortunately, you mean fortunately?
Yeah, fortunately, excuse me.
There you go.
You're right. Kyle Kaiser with a shutout. Did that happen? I don't believe it did.
I don't even remember, to be honest. It's been a week.
If it did.
I don't think the Eagles lit up a goal every game, so I don't think.
Ezra, thank God.
I'm double checking
that the women would win. The U.S. women would win all 3 games, and that has indeed happened. They've done nothing but score goals.
Not the boldest of predictions, but the Canada part was supposed to be bold, and they bombed.
I mean, that was considered with MPP in the lineup too, and
that's true.
So
you said that Bobby McMahon would end up in the Central. I'm assuming you thought that would happen before the freeze.
Yeah.
By the deadline. Okay,
that's a long-term prediction.
So we'll hold on to that one. And then you just said Sam Darnold, and I think that you meant that he'd be the MVP.
I did.
Yeah. Oh,
I didn't see Kenneth Walker coming. What can I do?
Yeah.
Neither did the New England defense.
Exactly. That's funny. Yeah.
There were definitely more hockey goals than there were. Well, actually, that might not be true. What was the final score?
29-13.
Yeah, 29-13.
It looked bad. So what's 42? That? 42.
All I'm saying is, I was with our alpine skiing team this weekend, so I didn't get to watch the Super Bowl until we got back, like the third quarter, and they scored a touchdown. So you're welcome, America. I sat down and watched the game, and there was finally a touchdown. So you're welcome.
I didn't even watch it.
22. Oh, the Panthers and Lightning coming up big for me with a 7-pointer. 29-35. I was wrong. Wrong. Short by a touchdown's worth of goals. So that's a wrong buzzer for me there. And I said
last turnover didn't happen.
Yep, exactly. And then I said Taylor McCarr would score a goal, and that didn't happen either. I think we had vaguely, didn't you reverse jinx Felleber? Didn't he score?
Yeah, that was the first thing that he said in the chat. Was that
there it is?
Jinx work.
Sally had 2 goals and 2 assists over the weekend.
Well, thank you, vaguely, for putting your.
But it was because he had his newborn child at the game for the first time.
Gotcha. All right, well, let's run the sponsor, and while I do that, you think of your bold predictions for this week. How does that sound? Sounds good. All right.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
I call that bold talk.
All right, this is Bold Predictions, brought to you by Brews Alehouse Brewing Company in Pueblo, Colorado, located on the historic Pueblo Riverwalk in downtown Pueblo. You just get off on City Center Drive there, and you head yourself down towards the river, and you will find Brews Alehouse, where they make some delicious beverages, some delicious food, desserts, coffee, all of which are made in-house. Please head on over to Brews Alehouse Brewing Company, the kind sponsor of this here Bold Predictions segment. We give our predictions and we hand out dings and buzzers, as you saw just now. And as vaguely put it, we just got through the Buzz Fest. That is this week. Hopefully next week is a dinger. Let's go with Ezra, since you're the only one who got one right.
Okay, good. I'm ready. Let's say, I want to say Italy gives okay, so I want to make my prediction around Italy, and I'm trying to decide if it should be how many goals they score or how many goals they give up. because how many goals they score, I feel like just saying 0 isn't that bold. but how many goals they give
I
up?
don't know. I think saying a
I think saying
shutout.
0 is bold. Yeah, I think really scoring 0 goals is bold.
Harsh. I'm being harsh.
Yeah.
They play
That's
Sweden, and then they play Slovakia, and then
they might not score.
Finland.
They might not score.
Okay.
I like that one. Making you stick to it.
Yeah, let's do it. Italy does not
They're
score.
going to get completely shut out, like 3 games, like
That
all
would be
games.
At home.
So sad.
Yeah.
Wow.
Listen. Qatar, who hosted the 2022 World Cup, was so bad, but they at least scored a goal. That's kind of bold.
All right, it's too bold, but let's do it.
I like it. I don't think it's too bold. I really don't, based on their group. I don't at all. They'll probably score first, watch, in the first game. All right, so I got you down. Jackie, what do you got for me?
All right, this one's a little bold. I'm going to say out of all the Avs players at the Olympics, Natchez will have the most points.
Ooh.
I like that one.
I like that too.
I like it too. No one really mentioned him. I mean, I guess we kind of touched on him in terms of like important Avs to have a good showing. But it would be nice to get the Marty Party churning here.
Yeah,
No
I think
points at all.
him getting some confidence there would also help the Avs a lot down the line.
Yeah, I thought about saying him, but I just felt, yeah.
All right, Evan. Following up on that, both Super Bowl teams to lose prediction. What do you got for me this week?
All the teams lose. No, I'm just kidding. Don't write that one down. No, I'm going to go down the opposite route of Ezra because I was already thinking about how many X number of goals that a team will score. And I'm going to focus on Canada and just their powerhouse, that they have. I think between now and our next show, I think we're going to get through the group stage. So they'll play all their 3 games. I think that the Canadians, and tell me if this is not bold enough, I think they're going to score 18 goals in 3 games, averaging 6 goals a game.
That's bold.
Okay.
That's bold.
Yeah, that's bold, especially considering their group. I think if they were in America's group, I might not think that was so bold. That's 18 goals in the 3 games. You'd imagine MacKinnon would have his hands on a few of those if that is in fact the case. I love it. Brandon, what you got for me?
I say at least 3 fighting majors between Chicago and Colorado this coming weekend.
Didn't they just play Chicago, or am I going crazy?
They did. And Sean Barron's got 9 stitches to seal his lip and his gums back up because he got a high stick.
I saw that. I didn't realize they were playing again and that it was a home and home.
Yeah, well, it's home at home with All-Star break tonight and tomorrow, but it's essentially home and home. But Keaton Middleton got 17 minutes in penalties defending Sean for it. And everybody was like, oh, he's in the box for being an idiot. It's like, guys, Sean Barron's just got his face bashed in. Come on. He was doing what was necessary.
That's what you want to see in the AHL, if I'm being honest. That's why you're there. If something like that goes down, you want to see some revenge exacted.
Sean Barron's was not in good shape afterwards either.
That sucks. Well, hopefully happy healing to Sean. My prediction is going to go back to the Olympics, going to go back to the guy with the good stick, and I'm going to say that Arturi Lehkonen scores the very first goal of the Olympics with Finland and Slovakia getting things kicked off tomorrow at 8:10 in the morning Mountain Time. So circle your calendar, set a reminder so that you're awake. I'm looking at you, Evan. And
I'll be up. Thank you very much. It's 10 o'clock for me out here anyway.
Yeah, you're hardly ever awake at 10 o'clock Mountain, 10 o'clock your time.
Listen. When you've been traveling with a ski team who gets up and leaves for the ski hill, not ski mountain, ski hill here in New York at 6 a.m., my time clock's all screwed up.
Yeah, that's funny that you mentioned the whole hill thing because that's all the Olympic people who are from that part of the country. Yeah, my local hill. And I'm like, huh? The local hill, you make it sound like it's like this bump.
It basically is. The one that's half an hour away from here, I think, has an elevation drop of 400 feet. Or no, that's
Oh,
I think it's
really?
like 700.
So when you call
still.
it a hill, you're not exaggerating.
I think it has
Got
to be 1,000 feet to be a mountain. There's like a movie about it.
That is hilarious. Okay,
Like-
that adds.
Like some mountain was at like 990 or something, and everyone in town decided to carry dirt up there to make it a mountain to get it to 1,000 feet. Yeah, there's a movie about it.
That's awesome.
Uh,
Well, that's a good way to spend
At
an
least
Olympic
your
break.
hills are getting snow.
Oh yeah,
Because
that's
our
right.
shores are not getting snow.
No. We should get some snow this weekend, though. Yeah.
Let's
Weather
get it.
report brought to you by Mile High Hockey. Thank you, folks. Well, I'm gonna let
do
you
it all.
I'm gonna let you forego. Thank you for tuning in, everyone that's watching right now. There's about 300 of you tuned in live. Thank you to Ezra Parter, Jackie K, Brandon Vogt, and Evan Liu as well for joining me today. We got some fun stuff cooking up in the hockey world. We'll see. I'm curious to see if any Avalanche management members will be in attendance. I'll let you know if I hear anything in terms of that for scouting opportunities. Maybe that's what I want to talk about next week. A little teaser is who might we be watching in this tournament as a potential acquisition for the Avalanche, if anyone. We'll go down that road next week. Hopefully I can circle back with you all on Tuesday, vaguely with some more mountain facts before we go. Says common threshold is 2,000 feet is often considered the technical minimum for a mountain, separating it from a hill. Okay, vaguely. Thank you for clearing that up, Jackie. So they must have been
Was
trying
it
to get it.
meters then? I don't know. Maybe it was meters. It was something like that.
Yeah. Well, folks, thank you for tuning in. Please head on over to the website, milehighhockey.com, where you can find all of our written material. Head over to Hockey Mountain High as well, where you can find the works of Brendan Vogt and Evan Liu. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share this content with your fellow hockey and Avalanche fans. Turn on your alerts if you're watching on YouTube so you know that every single time we are live and you are good to go to watch us. On behalf of myself and my colleagues, who keeps putting up the 600.
Sorry, I was trying to take it down.
On behalf of Ezra Parter, Jackie K, Brandon Vogt, and Evan Liu, my name is Adrian Hernandez, and this has been the 129th edition of the Mile High Hockey Lab. Can you believe we've done 128 of these before this? Does it?
We
seem
still
like
don't know how to do the chat on the side.
On my 100.
Oh, that's right. That's right. But until next time, folks, go Avalanche.
Thank you for tuning into the Mile High Hockey Lab.